replacing longtime incumbent Dr. Martin Karp, elected to the school board, District 3, which represents downtown Miami to Aventura, along the beaches, parts of North Miami, North Miami Beach. Prior to her election, Lucia Baez was a teacher for 15 years at Miami Beach Senior High, which is no small feat because school starts at 7:20 in the morning. So if you can be a high school teacher for 15 years, you can do anything.
That's right. You heard it.
But, and I believe you taught my son too. You've been involved with United Teachers of Dade, so you understand labor laws and the union, the Florida Education Association, which is the advocacy group. A Democrat, you received several endorsements during the campaign. Miami-Dade Democrats, State Senator Annette Taddeo, Congresswoman Donna Shalala. So it was wonderful to see your trajectory and see you win. Welcome.
Thank you. That was a lot of fun. It was good to see you. I saw you a lot on the campaign trail.
We did. Actually, the morning of the election day, I believe, I was placing a sign in front of Nautilus, and that's the last time I saw you.
That's right. That's right. We had a good conversation.
Yeah. You campaigned for about a year, and you really met everyone along, everyone in our city, in Miami Beach. So the district starts in downtown, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it goes up along the beaches, Surfside, Bay Harbor, Bell Harbor, up to Aventura. Sunny Isles.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have what, North Miami Beach?
Yeah, it crosses over Biscayne into NMB and like small parts of North Miami.
Okay, so I got it right.
Yeah,
pretty much
perfect.
So how you represent a tremendous, people don't realize this, but each school district has how many people in it?
Well, we had about 150,000 voters. I mean, that's how I kind of looked at it at the time.
So 150,000 registered voters, and you represent 36 schools.
Yes.
Wow, it's a lot of schools.
Yes.
And so you got elected in November. This is your first time. How has it been so far? What has it been, a complete whirlwind?
Yeah. Well, it's been everything I wanted and more. It really has been. It's been amazing. As you mentioned, just being someone that you wear so many hats as a teacher, so we've done everything. You have to be an advocate, a counselor, a teacher. You have to do everything.
People don't realize this, but high school starts at 7:20 in the morning. So you have to wake up at what time? When I taught high school, I was up at 5:30 to be in my room by 6:30 so that I could at least collect my thoughts before the craziness started.
I know, it's crazy. I still try to keep that calendar of getting up at 5 a.m. because...
Are you just on that schedule now?
Yeah, well, with the pandemic, it kind of went down the tubes. But now, we have to, I try to get up at that time still, but it's hard now. But I'll tell you this, it was a lot easier when I knew there was like a group of kids waiting for me. Like, it's like you get up and you're just excited to go see them.
What did you teach?
Language arts. So English and sociology. And my last few years, I taught dual enrollment English and sociology.
So you were teaching more of a higher level student that didn't have a problem reading or passing the FCAT.
At the end. But when you start, they give you everything, like every class,
People don't know this, but first-time teachers tend to get students that are more challenged.
Yeah.
Which is terrible. It's really terrible because
for everybody.
Yes, because when students can't read, their reaction is aggression many times. Yeah. I don't know. Did you teach all 15 years at Miami Beach Senior High?
Yeah, I did.
Oh.
But I've seen a lot of transitions of the school. So when I came in, it was a C school. There was no uniform. And it was the old Beach High, building. Very, very bad condition. And now we have the new building, which is nice, but I've seen all the different facets. I've seen it be high achieving, like national school of excellence. And then I've seen it just kind of be a little forgotten, but the whole time, what we realize is there's ups and downs, but it's the teachers that really fortify the building. It doesn't matter what's going on. It's the teachers that make it the place it is. I'm
so glad that teachers are now getting elected to the school board, because when I worked at Miami-Dade County Public Schools, I would see some of the policies that we had and I'd say, this just doesn't work. And you can speak to that in a way that maybe other school board members who haven't been in the classroom recently like you have can. So your perspective is invaluable.
Yeah. And I've been very lucky. Everybody, when I go up there and I say something, everybody is so respectful and so supportive, all of my school board colleagues. So I feel so blessed and grateful. I want to take this moment and thank my amazing colleagues on the board. I've never felt so welcome and supported. Oh, over here, sorry. Tommy.
So how many people are on this? Lucia,
Yeah.
how many people are on the school board total?
9.
So there's 9 members. Okay, for all of Miami-Dade County. People don't realize this, but the school board has a $5.6 billion budget. So you guys are constantly voting on real estate and different contracts. And I mean, it's as large of a budget as the county, almost. And people don't.
Yeah, we are the greatest employer in the whole county. We employ the most people.
You do. It's tremendous, right? How many people total does the school board?
Well, we have about 30,000 teachers, and then the staff. I mean, that's innumerable. I don't know, but even just with the teachers,
it's like 40,000. I remember one time during one campaign, I public record requested everybody at the schools, and I started to email all the teachers and employees across the county, which it was not hard to. It was not easy to get those email addresses.
I was gonna say.
I finally got them. Yeah,
it's big.
It's big.
But wait, I didn't know you were at MDCPS. I've never known that about you. What did you do?
I taught at Miami Central for 1 year before I started teaching at Miami-Dade College, and I will say that it was very eye-opening for me. Gloria Cotrati, I don't know if she's still there at the school board, but she was my mentor, and she was the mentor of mentors. And I was working at a school that was an F school, and all of my students had failed the FCAT. And I think that for me, it was a defining moment, and it actually was one of the reasons I went into politics in the first place, because I saw so many things that I thought we could change and so many inequities and injustices. By the way, Miami Central, we had brand new classrooms, brand new school, the best technology that you could imagine, but our students couldn't read, and it was very sad. Yeah. And I guess that's the biggest challenge. How do we get students literate?
Yeah.
Overall, right? And I mean, I think we're getting better at it. Or we're getting better at taking the test.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I mean, literacy, it's so important. It's obviously a foundational skill for life. But it's very much right now intertwined with this test taking, with performance-based. And like you were saying before, it really turns people off. And you may not be a great test taker, but you may be an amazing person. And we're still, even 2021, we're still labeling kids based on exams. Right now, as we speak, there's bills in the House to say, hey, for this 1 year, let's lay off the grading system. You know, if kids want to take the test, that's fine, but let's not punish them or assign.
Yeah, because the year that I was there, you were either like a 1 or 2, 3, 4, or 5. There's a scale from 1 to 5, and based on how you test it is how everything else is run. But it's good that you're there, because I think you will make the right changes. The state of Florida, unfortunately, I mean, for teachers in the classroom, when I was teaching, I had to have my lesson plan and some learning outcome on the board. I had people, it was more like a prison, but for the teachers too. I don't know how bad it was at Miami Beach Senior High, but I know that my administrators would like walk through, and we had to kind of almost be at full attention. If I wasn't teaching what was on the board, I could get in trouble, but that was all mandated by the state of Florida. So the state of Florida sometimes really doesn't get it.
Right.
Well,
that was the model, and then they eventually just kind of kept that model that you're describing for our transformational schools that are deemed that after many years of maybe low performance. They're still on that track.
They are?
Yeah.
Do you have any
we do. I don't personally
transformational schools?
Yeah, ETO schools. I don't personally have ETO schools, but they still exist. I believe there's still about 20 in the district. I may be wrong, but
wow, so then you're not more fortunate or less fortunate, but the people living in your district are some of the wealthiest zip codes.
They are. Yeah,
in Miami-Dade County.
But also I have some of the lowest too, and that's really throughout the whole county. I think you see that a lot. One block is mansions, one block is public housing. You know, I grew up in public housing on South Beach. So
did you really?
I did. I really did.
Wait, where?
On Euclid Avenue.
See,
in the 80s.
You know, Maddie Bauer always talks about it. She loves you, by the way.
I love her too.
And she suggested you have to interview Lucia. We need her voice. Yeah. I know that, what is the elementary school right there on Washington Avenue? Feinberg Fisher.
She's very passionate. Mayor Bauer is very passionate about Feinberg.
Well, we worry a lot about Feinberg Fisher. For the longest time, they didn't even have a playground, and we had to get together and put a lot of pressure basically on our school board. Dr. Karp was great, but, you know, it was hard for us to get dollars allocated to Feinberg Fisher. Meanwhile, you know, other schools that had louder voices in the PTAs were getting a lot more dollars allocated. So it really is like which parents are in the PTAs, in the schools, screaming for dollars. So,
and that's what we're trying to change with myself, with my assistant, Mateo Lopez. We're trying to get out in the community, and everybody, sometimes they're shocked, you know, show up somewhere and they're like, well, who are you? I'm like, a school board member. And they're like, well, what are you doing here? I'm like, I came to see, I came to know, I came to learn, you know?
Do all the schools have PTAs, or some schools just don't have a PTA presence? And
they all, I believe, have one. I don't know if it's like standard or mandated, but they're, like you said, they're not all equal, and we're trying to change that. And we're trying to make sure that, you know, not all parents can be active. You know, we're trying to make sure everyone gets the resources that they need and that we're equitable. And sometimes it means being comfortable giving some people more and some people less. And we have to play that game. And that's a challenge, but we're going to figure it out. We have 3 more years.
So in your first 100 days, and I saw this in the little video you created, you attended 18 school events, 10 PTSA events, 7 Chamber of Commerce events, 6 district workshops, 4 committee meetings, 4 school board meetings, helped 100 individuals.
That's Mateo.
And visited 21 schools in the district. So, I mean, it's a lot for one person, but, you know, if you have somebody like Mateo working with you, and people know how they can reach out to your office, how do they get in touch with you if they need you, Lucia? And we can maybe put it up, Tommy.
Oh, that would be great,
put up a phone number or an email address.
Yes, please. So the email is district3@dadeschools.net. district3@dadeschools.net. And then the phone number is 305-995-1369. And that goes straight to Mateo. Great. You didn't know you were going to get all promoted today.
It's important to have great support staff because you are so busy trying to study and be prepared for all of these meetings that you do need somebody who really cares about the constituents that call. And, you know, Martin Karp was pretty good too about following up. So I'm really happy
that he's been a great, you know, transition mentor. He's made himself available. So we're very happy. And it's like a, you know, transition of power. It's a safe, healthy, democratic transition of power. We get along great. We talk multiple times a week, and he's been great. It's
great because you know, I really relied on people when I first got elected to the Miami Beach Commission, people who knew, because sometimes you look at these agendas saying, you know, explain what's really going on here, and then somebody will explain it, and it you know, it makes so much more sense than whatever was written. It's politics at the end of the day, and there's a lot of money involved, and I know that people are circling school board properties, which makes me crazy, but I'm not going to go into that right now. I'm not going to put
that for another time.
So in Miami Beach schools right now, a status of anything interesting? I know that you said that there was water intrusion at a couple of schools on the beach that you were going to work on to fix.
Yeah, that's mostly one of our middle schools, and it's just something that happens. I think
Nautilus. I know where that is. No, because it's really horrible. It's in the theater area, and I can't believe we haven't been able to fix that.
I know, but you know what? They had a lot of commitment already. That's what we found out. So when we got to the bottom of it, the commitment was there. It's just a matter of like everybody getting on the same page, but the money's been allocated. They were already going to start this summer. It's just when you don't hear, people get antsy. So what we do a lot in our office is facilitate communication. And 99% of the time, people leave feeling like better, like, okay. And it's just communication. And it must be something where the district can't communicate with every person all the time. So then they call us, they're antsy, what's going on? You know, we don't know anything. We facilitate communication and everybody's happy because the district is paying attention in many of these cases. They know what's up.
It's just so massive. And I mean, I know you guys have $1 billion in capital improvements projects across the school, but I haven't really seen that so far in Miami Beach. So I know that South Point was allocated some funding, and so was Feinberg Fisher. Are those projects moving forward?
They're all moving forward. South Point, I believe, it's on this month's agenda. and that's moving forward.
So what is South Point getting?
They're building classrooms.
Oh, they are.
Yep, and it's going to be
Great.
above the basketball court, I believe. So their area won't be,
okay.
you know.
So South Point is getting classrooms, and then Feinberg Fisher is getting the gym redone. Are they not?
I don't know about that one.
Because you know the gym is like closed and condemned right now at Feinberg Fisher, and it has been for many years.
Get on that. Okay.
And it's important that we love the students at Feinberg Fisher, and we're very worried. By the way, now that you're a school board member, and I know we're having this conversation publicly, but there's no, listen, on 6th Street, Miami Beach has a community center. I know that we've done food distributions there together. And I know that right now one of the daycares is about to be closed, and they were promised a space. And I'm sure that people have reached out to you.
Yes, we're working on that.
You are?
We're working on that because what we find is a lot of people do use this early childhood care. Yeah. It's important. Teachers apparently have been using it. What we're trying to find is a good location.
In school board property.
Yeah. We're trying to find a good location. There are a few. And I know that we have a location on Espanola Way. I know it's very Miami Beach centered convo, but you know, for all you out there, Espanola Way, there's a location there that we own, and it's right now we're in the talks of how it could best be used. There's a lot of people that want to do good things in our community. They were talking old folks home. They're talking, you know, many different things, but people want to use these spaces to do good. And as much as possible, I know the district is willing to do that.
That's great. You should really open up, because I know that we have this center. It's coming up next week. I've gotten several emails from people about it, and I'm like, oh, I've got another battle. But, you know, so that would be great if you found a space.
Yeah.
And so you're right. We are really speaking to everybody. Is there anything coming up? Right. Well, okay. So first and foremost, teachers getting vaccinated. How many teachers have been vaccinated? Are they going to the sites to get vaccinated?
Yeah, I know that at the school sites, they're doing a lot of surveys just to see where they're at right now, which really changes everything. It really changes everything. I know internally we're having conversations. There's going to be a reconvening of the medical task force just to see what this all means. Like, now if we have a fleet of vaccinated teachers, what can we do? And what can we not do?
You guys, at this point, everybody wants the schools open.
Well, they're open.
They're open.
They're open.
Are they? But they're not open. Are they open for 5 days?
Yeah, of course.
The students are going, I don't know, because my senior is at home. By the way, it's been very interesting for me to observe the teachers. The teachers are excellent at Beach High. And in the International Baccalaureate program, I hear the conversations they're having. It blows my mind how smart that, it's really, but poor teachers. Can you imagine if like you were on like display every single class period with a parent nearby listening? It's got to be really challenging.
Yeah. But you know what? We're very proud of the work we do. I would love it if parents would have written to me like, I love your lesson today. Would have been great. You know, you should reach out.
I should probably reach out and tell them what a great job they're doing. But the IB teachers at Beach High, you guys are doing an amazing job. Mrs. Duvall makes me laugh. Almost every day, the things that she says, that she has them on their toes, you know, and they really love the teachers. Is she still doing
Tai Chi in class?
I don't know if she's probably, but you know, she really keeps them on their toes. She's breaking them into groups. Like, I'm really watching them learn how to dominate this online teaching method, which, by the way, is daunting at first, but like I came from the college this morning and like I've adapted. Now I can break my students into virtual groups. I know that I'm being filmed here, but that I've got to log in here, and I, you know, so it's just like you morph into it. Yeah. So schools are open, and when are we going to demand that 100% go back then?
So like that's what's internally happening right now. There's going to be no decision made until after spring break, which takes us to April 4th.
Okay.
Because they want to get it right. One thing, for example, is yesterday the CDC was saying if 2 people are vaccinated in a room, you no longer need masks. Well, that's great, CDC, but like in a classroom, we definitely want to keep our masks on right now, at least through the end of May or June when school ends. So these types of conversations right now are happening. Also, maybe, so in Broward, they required all the teachers to come back already, but we haven't done that necessarily.
The teachers are teaching from
the ones that have ADA and qualify, absolutely. And
some of them are teaching from the classrooms.
Some are teaching from the classrooms right now, the ones that feel comfortable or, you know, are not high risk. So it's been a balance, and it's been a Herculean task. you know?
I can't even imagine, but I'm sure that everybody wants our schools up and running. I know the governor, now he's bragging. Our schools never closed down.
They didn't. And now, in retrospect, I mean,
it was probably a good thing that we're up and running.
Well, and we see how ahead of the time we were. When in Chicago, teachers are, protesting that they don't want to go back. That's how I found out that Florida was so ahead of it, was when I read about the Chicago strikes. I was like, wait, there's still people that are teaching online? Like, I had no idea. I thought everybody was open.
No, and not getting vaccinated. So I think it's great that the K through 12 teachers, by the way, if any teachers are watching, the North Campus was just so easy to go and get the one-shot Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Awesome. I went a few days ago and I got it myself. I think they're really vaccinating anyone with a Florida driver's license, but teachers especially. So the teachers shouldn't be afraid to just go and get the vaccine right away.
Oh yeah.
Are you guys mandating that the teachers get vaccinated, or is that up to them?
Yeah, I think that's a personal choice at this point. And there's no vaccinations for kids, so there's no. I don't think. Yeah.
And you guys haven't had like a huge, problem. I know that there have been deaths, and I read that there were a few deaths, but like overall, when you look at the massive amount of people, how many students are in Miami-Dade County?
We have about 350,000 students. It's always been lower than the community rate, and that's all I could say. It's always lower than the community rate.
And well, that's great, And listen, the Miami-Dade College is open, and I don't think it's easy because we're so socially distanced. I go on the campuses, and it really looks like it's empty, but we're there. Oh. There are some of us there, including myself. So, state of Florida, people don't realize that Miami-Dade County School Board, serves at the pleasure of the state of Florida, which holds all the power in education and all the funding. And every year in the legislature, it seems to be like there is some sort of a fight. So what is happening this year in terms of K through 12?
A lot is going on. Like what I said, mentioning the anti-testing bills. Okay. Those are out. There's the.
So that's a good thing, though, right?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay.
But,
do you think that those will pass? Are they going through committee?
They're not.
Because they need those data measures in order to allocate funding.
Right.
They don't realize that those tests are killing.
Yeah.
Creativity, killing the system.
Yeah,
they are.
Yeah, and killing the spirit of children and teachers across the state. But there's that. There's a lot of union busting bills right now.
What in terms of what are they planning on doing to unions?
Well, the membership ones or the opt-in. So right now you can just renew your membership in a union, but they're going to ask. Well, if it passes, that you have to sign up every year. Which, of course, people will forget. You'll eventually lose. And then if you don't have 50% or 51% of your membership.
And that's just for K through 12 or all unions across the state of Florida?
That, I believe, maybe all unions.
Wow.
Yeah. So UFF, you're part of United Faculty of Florida.
So Miami-Dade College. Yeah. No, we're on UFMDC.
Oh, you have your own. That's right. UFMDC.
We have our own. So, no.
Are you a union member?
Pardon?
Are you a union member?
Of course I'm a union member. And by the way, as a teacher, it is not easy to be a union member because you're not making that much money. And you come in and this group kind of says, hey, now you're going to give up 2% of your salary. And by the way, could you donate X, extra?
Oh, and by the way, you don't have to be a union member. It's a right to work state. So we're in it just out of principle, really, because you don't have to be a union member.
Well, I'm going to tell you, the year that I taught at Miami-Dade County Public Schools and I looked at my salary and the union asked me to give 2%, I kind of laughed and I didn't do it. But when I didn't because I was a single mom. I was starting out. I was making $38,000 that year. And I'm like, I can't do it, guys. I'm so sorry. But as soon as I got hired at the college and I had a little bit more, they don't let you get away with that at the college because at the orientation, 8 union members come into the room when you're sitting there at orientation and they're like, you're going to join. And you're like, okay. And then we have 90% membership at the UFMDC.
Oh, that's like a dream. Sorry, that's a dream come true.
So there's union busting going on.
Yes. There's also, this is heartbreaking, for the Florida Bright Futures.
Yeah, explain what's going on with that. I read about it this morning.
It's so terrible. They'll only fund now if you're in a job that will let you, that is hireable. So if you're studying theology or philosophy, you may not qualify for full Bright Futures anymore, because they're saying then if you're in one of these other
They want you to go
non-traditional,
into those workforce careers.
they want you to go into workforce things, because then you're going to be in debt and you're going to be a burden on society, because no one will ever hire you if you have a philosophy degree.
I will say that I studied French literature, and it didn't help me all that much when it was time to go and get a job. But I do love the humanities, and we cannot kill the humanities.
No, of course not. This is really terrible.
It's really horrible. So they probably
And
shouldn't.
listen, we're training people for jobs that won't exist in 10 years.
It's not going to pass. There's that.
I mean, I don't know what's going on up there. We can't even go up there because everything's by appointment with COVID, and the Senate off limits. Then the House, I believe you can make an appointment and then they usher you in, you come
So it's
out.
like legislation behind closed doors this year. And actually a lobbyist who works in Tallahassee, very powerful, said, I can't believe that somebody isn't suing the state of Florida right now for the closed manner in which they're conducting business this cycle. Yeah. Maybe Miami-Dade County Public School Board should sue.
I mean, we have a lot of people that are up there right now doing what they have to do, but it's just hard. So it's all about funding right now, governance, like these ideas that, you know, they're taking away things from kids. You know, that's really the most important thing.
Well, hopefully that won't pass. Let me see. I know that you mentioned something about undocumented students being able to get tested for COVID. I know you were working on that. Explain that initiative.
So this happened in one of our school visits, and it was a teacher, and she said that she knows she has a high undocumented population and that she feared for her life because a lot of the kids were not going to testing sites because, you know, they didn't know the process.
Their parents were afraid what papers are they going to show. Exactly.
Right. So we worked with, when the Health Clinic came out, we worked with them. We told them that this was a real concern, and it was such a tiny thing, but it made such a big difference. They put in huge block letters, no ID required. So, you know, apparently
the parents
this helped.
are getting tested too.
This helped, and the mobile health clinic went to this area, I won't say, and to this school specifically just due to like the concerns we brought up. So the mobile clinic went, again, the flyer says no ID required, and it was like a win-win. So it was very exciting. Yeah.
That's great. Are you guys still feeding people? Because I know that you were providing breakfast and lunch for people who possibly couldn't go to school. So is that still happening?
On Thursdays now. It's been, before it was all week, then Tuesday, Thursday, and it's still Thursdays after school. Every
Thursdays
school
where?
site,
at every
school site from 4 to 5:30, they give out their meals. I believe it's for the week now.
Do people know that? Are they taking advantage of it? I mean, I feel like people don't know. Puedes ir a coger comida gratis los jueves en todas las escuelas.
Sí, absolutamente.
They don't know.
Yeah. You know, I think that they know it's a matter of transportation. It's always been transportation. If you look at Beach High, our boundaries are from 5th Street to 86th Street, pretty much, right? So if you live in the outer edges, it might be hard if you're someone that's coming home from work, or if you're a kid at home. That's why I'm telling you, Beach High, think about our boundary. You could be living on 86 and go to Beach High. How are you going to get yourself to get that food on Thursdays?
So that's what
it might be a transportation issue. So if they're not taking advantage, that's most probably why.
Oh.
Because the boundaries, yeah.
And what's going on with the school buses? They're not running right now? Or what happened to all of that? Are the school buses running like usual?
Yeah, they're running like usual. Right now, the only thing we have going on with school buses is we're trying to get a fleet of 50 electric school buses, which is really exciting.
That's great.
Yes.
Because they have those horrible old diesel school buses. Good, get rid of them.
Yeah, we have a lot of board members that are interested in this environmental right now. We're hoping to maybe do something for April for Earth Month. Okay. You know, but just to be able to start shifting in a new direction, I think we could do it. There's a lot of people in the community that reach out to us, to District 3, and they're ready to see us take the lead. And especially, like we said, being the highest employer, if we make a change, I mean, we're the model for everybody in this county.
No, and really, we really need to start these initiatives to start greening all of the schools too.
That's part of it.
Yeah, so, and starting with the fleet is probably the easiest way to do it if we have the money to do it. So congratulations.
Yeah, no, we're really excited. You
And
know?
well, especially with, sea level rise, I can't even imagine like mitigating everything. If I could ask for one thing, put some windows like in the new construction.
Yes.
With the you worked in that school where it's
Mhm.
cement block and you feel like you're in a prison. Can't we go in and maybe create like I know there's not a lot of money and everybody's stretched, but whoever built those schools, shame on the contractor because we
Yeah.
spend so much money. And you should ensure that those schools have windows just like every other building and natural light and
Yeah.
plants, because whoever did that, I hate to say that somebody would skim, but I think there was a little skimming going on, right?
Yeah, we have that 500 building.
Yeah.
It's so weird, but those teachers love it. Miss Hazelman was in
They
that
do?
room. Mr. Simmons,
Love it.
they love it. They
I-
tried to move me over there because it was the English wing, and I was like,
Didn't
no.
want it. They show
No.
that when your environment has natural light and flora, like your mind also thinks like at a higher level too.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you could do anything about these new constructions.
I'll definitely
Meet with the
keep that in
architect.
mind, but I will tell you that the architects are getting really innovative. We have down in Brickell,
Mhm.
it's not going to be in my district physically, but it will be servicing kids from my district. Very confusing. But
Okay.
down in Brickell, the South Side Prep, it's becoming a K-8.
Okay.
It was a K-5. It's coming K-8. And this new Brickell World School is what they call it. It has everything. It has green space. It has housing, affordable housing for if teachers want to live there.
I loved that idea, by the way. The teachers were upset about it, but I thought it was a great idea.
Right. And they don't have to live there,
Yeah.
right? But
oh, so it does. It's a whole model.
it's the whole model, and they're reusing that in another district, in District 2 as well.
Well, you should go into these same architects and say, could you look at the current schools that we have that were built over the past 20 years that don't have windows, and can you take any unused bond money and just put some windows in?
That's a great idea.
Yeah, because that would work across the district and everybody would be on board, because nobody likes those, prison-like structures that we built and we spent some money building. So finally, graduation, commencement, are they going to be in person, virtual? What's going on?
I mean, they're exploring. They're definitely exploring. I mean, I personally, not speaking for the board, I see all these other events that are happening outdoors with spectators, socially distanced. I don't know. What I've been made to understand is that if it does happen at graduation, it's not going to look how it usually does, like at the convention center or the Watsco Center at UM. Like, that's off the table right now. But that there could be something else is what they're exploring.
We did it at Miami-Dade College in December in the middle of the pandemic. We had a commencement ceremony, and we just had every single student socially distanced on a football field. So maybe that's how it has to happen.
Exactly.
And people are really pushing, I'm sure, for commencement, because these kids haven't had.
They've been through a lot.
Anything. I can't imagine my senior year. They really haven't had.
You know what is a big deal that I hear? Prom. Just not having a prom is such a big deal. I agree.
So why can't they have a prom? That just seems. Can you push for that? Can you? Who's saying that they can't have a prom?
It's just the protocols would be very hard to find a place, and then there's eating and sweating and dancing and then we don't want these kids to come to school on Monday after prom.
Oh, I guess.
If they're gonna have a prom, then let that be the last day of school.
I get it, because there's liability involved. But I do know, for example, in Miami Beach, we're doing a senior picnic on Tuesday, the 16th, and we weren't allowed to disseminate the information to the students through the school board. We had to do it on our own, but that's not fair to those students who might want to go to the picnic, who might not be hooked into the PTSA and not get the message.
Right.
Right.
So, but there's lots of ways. These kids.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. The information flies like wildfire.
So, but it just, sometimes I feel like we're overly cautious. I know we need to be.
Do a TikTok.
Oh, TikTok?
Do a TikTok.
Do you have a TikTok?
I don't, but I think if you do a TikTok, the kids will see it.
Oh, all right. PTA, Tiva, you do the TikTok. That's like.
Everyone will see it. I'll repost you.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, thank you for coming.
Yeah.
You have an open invitation. If you want to discuss anything that's happening in Miami Beach, anything controversial, anything you feel like you need support on, please reach out, and I will be here as a resource.
Yeah, and I want everyone to know that you can reach out to me anytime. Again, District 3 at dadeschools.net. We're here for you. It's my pleasure to serve. It's an honor. This is a dream for me, and we're going to make the most out of it. And then you guys will be the first to know But we have, going into the summer, we still have the budget. We still have mental health. We need to make sure we're up and ready for this upcoming school year. So maybe we'll come up, in the summer and make sure everybody knows what's available to them in this new school year for after we've gone over this hump, hopefully.
Because people do have pandemic, they're traumatized by this, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know. So we'll come back and,
Yeah.
and you're welcome here at the community newspaper.
Thank you.
Sure. And
so
thank you very much for coming down, Lucia.
Thank you.
Okay.